Welcome to a brand new episode of the Post Game. I'm your host, Davion. I'm joined by Michael
What's up?
and Emmett.
What's going on?
And today we are back with the Let's Talk NBA Series Season 2. We are talking about the Minnesota Timberwolves today. So yes, Minnesota Timberwolves, they did not meet expectations last season. They did not do what everybody said that they would have done. And they honestly just had a very lackluster season. Some can blame it on just not, some can blame it on health, some can blame it on no team cohesion, some can blame it on Rudy Gobert. Um, where do you guys expect them to do next season? What do you expect them to do next season? And like, what is this team to you, and what are they missing? Or I'll say that one for a second. So, what do you expect them to do this next season?
I expect them to be exactly where they always are, missing the playoffs. They should be a lot better with the talent that they have. They should be a lot better, but I expect them missing the playoffs. I hope Anthony Edwards makes a huge jump this year, winning. I could see him doing something like winning Most Improved, like how Ja did, where he was already a baller, but he just goes to a completely different superstar-esque type of level. But it depends on where Anthony Edwards at.
Yeah, I see him kind of in the same boat, maybe a little bit better than last year. But it's hard to say with kind of how competitive the West is now. And they're going to be fighting with a lot of teams to get, you know, out of the play in. And, you know, even when they uh had Carl Anthony Towns before he got hurt last year, they were like 10 and 10, 10 and 11, I think. And, you could chalk that up to like, oh, like a lot of new faces, like, trying to learn how to play with each other. But, I don't think that is like a good excuse 20 games in. So, like, even with him, like, and based on that track record, having the same roster, like, it's just hard to put them anywhere higher than maybe or two spots higher than last year. So,
Yes. So here's the thing. I think they'll probably last season they finished seventh. Um, and they were 46 wins, 36 losses. I mean seventh in the West is competitive-ish, give or take. Actually, it might be the wrong season. Yes,
they're
they finished
42
eighth.
and
They
10.
finished eighth last season. Um, you know, which the West is very hard. I mean, you look at four to 10 were separated by 5 games. And so it's got like you said, it's gonna be competitive. I think they'll be somewhere in that same realm, 4 to 10 ish. I mean, they're not, listen, I've been watching Anthony Edwards and the what's it called, the FIBA? Like they're doing some qualifying.
USA
What is
team.
it qualifying? Like what are they doing? Just like some scrimmages or something? Or is it competitive right
It's
now?
a full tournament. Like they're going for a trophy.
Okay.
They just recently started doing like group play, and then bracket play will come soon.
Okay, got it. So yeah, I've been seeing. I mean, he has looked amazing in these games. Like he's looked really competitive. Like he's taken that leap this season. Like he's like coming to his own. And honestly, he's looking like a force on defense and offense. And so if he can translate that from the US team to the T-Wolves, I mean, and put up realistically 26 points a night consistently, then he can be a difference maker for this team and if they miss or make the playoffs. But I feel like the science project, which is Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns, like you can't move Rudy, obviously. He just got here. They just sent their house and their farm and their tractors away for him. But Cat might his time might be running out. Like I think if someone comes calling, maybe even Chicago comes calling and they're like, hey, like we want to trade or if someone else comes calling, like I think they should pull the trigger because it's not going to work. Granted, Rudy Gobert is awful. Once his contract runs out, he will be one of those players that will take a bare minimum contract. Like he just isn't efficient or usable in today's NBA market and in today's team. I mean, I'm sorry to say this, but I know you love big men, but their time in the NBA are on the way out. Like they're just not used. I mean, unless you are like competitive and what's the word I'm looking for? And like a difference maker, like let's say Joel is, like you still have a job. But Rudy Gobert, like he's even struggles at rim protecting at some points in his game, and sometimes. And so I don't really know like what'll happen there. But what do you guys think they're missing?
So
I think
first
they're
about,
missing, yeah,
go ahead, Emmett.
I think they're missing like in an identity as a team and also like a point guard, like a set in stone point guard that they can rely on to create for all of their talent on the team because they do have it. It's just like they're not going to do much if their point guard isn't like distributing like D'Angelo Russell is. He's a score guy, like he likes to do that, and then like he'll do his moves. I mean, I've seen them play. Like he'll do his moves and then just give it to Cat or Anthony Edwards with 7 on the shot clock, and they just have to chuck something up. Like, they got Mike Conley, who it could do that this year, but they need like someone that they can, rely on for the next few years. And they also have brought in a bunch of like um guys from different teams. Like I think they got like Troy Brown from the Lakers and Shake Milton from the Sixers. So they're just kind of throwing in these guys, hoping that they can be rotational pieces. And so I just think they need like an identity and like kind of you know immerse themselves within the culture. And I don't know. I just feel like they're relying solely on their talent to win these games, and I just don't know how much team play there is.
I was gonna
I
say the
agree with
same
that.
thing.
I think they
Go
have a
ahead.
lot of talent. Yeah, I think they have a lot of talent. I agree with them where they just need someone that has that championship DNA. Even though he's a troll, I kind of like how they had Patrick Beverly on that team before. I think he's the type of player that they need, just so that he can kind of be the glue for the whole team together. They do need to have a point guard too, and I'm with you too. I think they need to do something about Carl. Maybe not this season, but his time is running out.
I
Mhm.
mean, and oh, I mean, what he has 2 years left on his contract, if that, maybe. I think if they're smart, they'll go and get something back in return. Because they need to, especially after losing all that crap for Gobert. But I agree with both of you. Like they have no identity, they have no game plan, they have no structure. Like they have no disciplined leaders. Like I mean, who's like realistically, who's the leader on this team? Mike Conley? He's not gonna. I mean, he can't even facilitate on offense. He can't be like that drastic of a leader for that locker room, in my opinion. And so they need to find a leader I mean, and they need to find something that, like you said, Michael, or Emmett, however one it was, but someone who has that winning mentality, someone who has that niche for winning. And if they find that, then they'll be fine. I mean, I think they're like a couple pieces away from being a contending team, honestly.
And I mean, I'd also mention it. I mean, I don't know what to think about their coach really, but I know that they've had somewhere around like 5 coaches in the
Mhm.
last 8 years or something. And like, it's just hard to gauge kind of, is it the coaching or is it the team? Like I you don't know.
And honestly, like I think it gets to a point where it's like I think finding a good coach, like if you fired your head coach this season, I think there was a market for two coaches that were really good. I mean, you have Nick Nurse that came out of Toronto, who I mean he's a championship head coach. And what's the other guy who got fired this season? Um, I don't know. But there was one more, but like when I think you really need to pull the trigger on these coaches that are experienced. They know how to create a culture and create something, um, and have that winning mentality. And I'm not saying their head coach doesn't have that, but right now he just doesn't have what it takes to lead this team. Um, but any final thoughts on the Timberwolves?
Last thing about Carl, um, only thing about him getting traded is makes me wonder if he's going to be a type of player that when he gets traded, is he going to be exposed for not being as good as we think he is, or is he going to be better? And it was the Timberwolves. I was holding him back. I think he has the talent to be the type of player that he should be on a different team, and he's just being held back by the team. But I also think he's soft. I don't think he has that winning mentality. I don't think he's gonna do the hard work to try to um, dive for loose balls. Go for the rebounds. I don't think he has that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Completely
Yeah,
agree.
same.
I mean, yeah, he's a little, yeah, no, he's not really that for me. Like I feel like my biggest comparison is Julius Randle. Like Randle, he'll dive on the floor sometimes, but like he's not that guy. Like he just wants to jack up threes, play with his back um um away from the basket. Like he wants to be a perimeter player as a big. And it's like everybody can't be Jokic, you know.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, I hope Cat does well. Like you've never really seen a center like this that can just like you've seen centers that can shoot, but none that like are just snipers. Like this man is so good from behind the arc. And
Literally won the 3-point contest last season, didn't he?
yeah.
Nuts. Nuts. I mean, realistically, like if this they have to, I think if they want to make this scheme work, they have to change it a little bit. And they have to make it where Cat's outside of the perimeter. He can't be anywhere near it. He has to be a spot up 3-point shooter. Because the minute he starts driving to the paint, now you have Gobert just sitting there like, what am I doing? Like it's like, and it doesn't work. And so they have to really figure out how to implement a really good strategy into creating something for this team. And if they do that perfectly, they'll be fine. But until that happens, then they'll sit here with the 8, 9, 10 record.
Yeah.
But,
Um, yeah, they gotta do something with these centers, man. They just re-signed Nas Reed too to like a big contract. Like, I mean, listen, I'm all for starting all three of them. Go big, go home. But
I guess they're keying that up for somebody to be leaving.
yeah, maybe.
I hate to tell you which one it is. But yeah, any final thoughts when you have on these guys? All right, I appreciate you guys for listening. T-Wolves fans, let us know how you feel. We are excited to be back on talking about the NBA. But yeah, I've been your host, Davion. That's Michael. That's Emmett. This has been the post game. Peace.